Good morning. Welcome to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's morning AM docket. Today is Thursday, October 15th, 2020. The board will be hearing regular items today. I'm going to quickly go through a PowerPoint presentation regarding the hearing process. The board uses the Webex platform to conduct its hearings. To participate in the meeting, we have a link that's posted right here on our website. Also posted on this PowerPoint presentation, there's an access code and password that you can use to gain access to the platform. If you do not have a smartphone, iPad, or computer, down at the bottom there is a phone number and access code that you can call and punch in and gain access to our hearings. All the materials, evidence, and related items for our docket are found online on our website. If you go to our website and go to the hearing schedules link, go to October 15th, 2020, you will see all of the materials for the docket. The board has a 48-hour evidence rule for online hearings. We ask that all evidence be submitted to the board at least 48 hours before the hearing. All evidence should be submitted via email to Assistant Executive Secretary Ms. Stacy Russell. Her email address can be found on this website and also, on this PowerPoint presentation and at our website. Amendments made to applications by all applicants or their representatives will not be accepted after October 1st, 2020 for this docket. If an applicant attempts to amend an application at this hearing or after October 1st, the matter will have to be postponed. Just the general procedures for this docket. After I read the instructions, I will call the case and I will impanel all of the parties associated with that case. At that time, once you're impaneled, I'd ask you to turn on your video and audio capabilities of your smartphone because we have a court reporter who is present, who will be taking and transcribing all testimony. Please speak slowly, clearly. When stating your name, please spell it for the reporter if there are any questions or concerns. If you are not giving testimony, I would ask that you mute your phone, your tablet, or your other device so that there's no background noise. The board is also not authorized to discuss non-case related matters. The board is only considering cases today. Just the general ground rules and helpful information for the hearing. Again, identify yourself and state the spelling of the name before you speak. Speak slowly and in a clear voice so the court reporter understands exactly what is being said and who's saying it. Please note that this is an event that will run live on CHARP TV. Individuals who use profanity, are disrespectful, or unruly may be expelled from the virtual hearings. And all attendees, applicants, licensees, and members of the public that wish to provide testimony during the hearings must be sworn in prior to giving testimony. Some helpful reminders for Webex. Please, location actually really matters when you're trying to give testimony. Please be in a quiet and well-lit area. I ask that you don't multitask so you can concentrate on your testimony that you're giving with the board, and be patient through this process because sometimes people speak over each other when they don't intentionally mean to because there's a delay in the feed. Mr. Chair, with that, may I please call a preliminary matter? We have one preliminary matter.
Yes. Are you hearing background noise from me?
I am hearing a little background noise from you. Yes, sir.
They are drilling above my head. I don't know how long that's going to go on. I'm sorry.
So it's okay, sir. I will, if there's any kind of issues, we'll adjust accordingly.
Okay.
This is case number 9, Austin Baldwin Haynes, Interstate Maryland Beverage, LLC, trading as True Baltimore, 411 South Central Avenue. This is an application for a new Class B hotel motel license. This matter has been postponed and will be scheduled on a future date. With that, I'm going to call case number 7, Esteli B. Levin, Norman Levin, and Ronnie L. Norman Sr., Fivus Drugstore Incorporated, trading as Fivus Drugstore, 2101 Garrison Boulevard. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. A request for a hardship extension under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 122202. I'm now bringing in Mr. Boozer who has his client present. Mr. Boozer, will you please turn on your video and your audio?
Mr. Ackers, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can hear you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Boozer, will you identify yourself for the record, please?
Frank Bruce, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Truesdale, who's the party seeking the extension.
Okay. And we have a letter from you dated August 27 requesting a hardship extension. This a 90 or 180-day extension?
180-day extension. If I may explain a little bit further, Your Honor.
Sure.
Mr. Truesdale was a contract purchaser of an auction contract of the license in question on March 11, 2020. Parties who handled the auction and handled the attempted transfer weren't aware of the rules and regulations of the Baltimore City Liquor Board, and that's where I stepped in. I filed an application on September 3rd on behalf of Mr. Truesdale, but obviously this letter for hardship extension preceded that, and as an abundance of caution, I wanted to make sure we complied with a 180-day rule. I'm hoping that the September 3rd application will be heard in short order, and then we can wrap that all up, the transfer up. But I had to do clean up, and I didn't want, obviously, Mr. Truesdale or the selling party under the auction agreement to violate the board's 180-day rule.
So are you indicating that this will be consummated soon?
Yes, by my records, I filed the application with the board on September 3rd.
Okay. So should be no further problem after this. Is that correct?
Best laid plans, Your Honor, but yeah, hopefully not.
Okay. Do the commissioners have any questions for Mr. Boozer?
No questions.
I have no questions.
Mr. Ackers, is there anyone who wants to comment on this?
Are there any individuals from the public who wish to provide testimony in this case? If you do, please use the raise your hand function. Mr. Chair, I see no individuals that wish to give testimony in this case.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Boozer, on the basis of your application and your letter of August 27, 2020 and your proffer this morning, I would grant a 180-day hardship extension. Commissioner?
Mr. Boozer, upon the review and the evidence and testimony presented before the board this morning, I vote to approve the request for the hardship extension.
Based upon the proffers by counsel, I join my colleagues in approving the hardship extension for an additional 180 days.
No exhibits.
Mr. Boozer, the board will be sending you correspondence in regards to the board's decision approving your request for hardship.
Thank you, Mr. Ackers. And Mr. Chairman, thank you for allowing me to go first.
You're welcome. Good day.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to call the next case that we're ready on, which is case number 1. Hyun Ali and Freddie Montford, Bayview Golf Driving Range LLC, trading as Bayview Golf Center, 6401 East Lombard Street. This is a Class D beer wine license. An application to transfer ownership and location of a Class D beer and wine license presently located within Cross Street Market to 6401 East Lombard Street, requesting live entertainment. The board in this case is to rehear the matter concerning an issue identified during the issuance process.
And who's on for this case?
This is Mr. Maslin, and he has informed me that his client is present with him.
All right, let's swear the witness, please.
Can you hear me, guys, Judge?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Why don't you identify yourself for the record, Mr. Maslin?
For the record, Gary Maslin, on behalf of the applicant, Hyun Lee and Freddie Montford.
Is Mr. Montford present? Can we swear him in?
He is. Could you raise your hand?
Can you turn on your video, Mr. Maslin?
I'm trying to, it's a start video. Should I click that? Let's see if that works. Oh, there you go. Awesome.
Okay, so that's Mr. Freddie Montford that's there with you?
Yes. Yeah. Come on for raise your.
Okay, all right. Okay, and that's the only person there, right? Okay. Can you raise your right hand? Oh, the video is just faded out.
Mr. Maslin, can you turn on your video, please? I think we may have lost Mr. Maslin. Mr. Maslin, can you turn on your video, please? Mr. Chair, we can recall this matter if you'd like. We can call case number 4. We're ready on case number 4.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Calling case number 4. This is Folasad Abolarin and De Subomi Abolarin, Kuramo Restaurant LLC, trading as Kuramo Restaurant, 5702 through 04 Hartford Road. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for a new Class B beer, wine, liquor restaurant license under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1603C1 small I, requiring $200,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities, 40% of food sales, and seating capacity for a minimum of 75 people, but not more than 150 individuals, requesting off-premise catering. I'm now going to bring in Ms. Abolarin, and we do have a member of the community who is in opposition. I can bring them on either now, Mr. Chairman, or I can bring them on after the applicant makes the presentation.
Let's bring them all on and get them sworn.
Ms. Blum, I'm trying to get you as a panelist, but are you on a cell phone right now, or, you know, Ms. Blum, I'm unmuting you. Are you on a cell phone? Are you on a tablet?
I'm on a Chromebook.
Okay, for some reason it's not allowing me to make you a panelist, and there's a Webex platform, so we may just have to swear you in as you are right now.
Okay.
Okay, let's swear the witnesses, please.
Okay, and who was the person that's on the phone? What is your name, please?
Mia Blom.
Would you be able to spell that for me?
Yes, MIABLOM.
Okay, BLOM as in Mary. Was that BLOM as in Mary?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, please raise your right hand. Ms. Abolarin, if you can raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to help you God, or under penalty of perjury? And please state your name before your response.
Folashade Abolarin, Folasade Abolarin. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then Ms. Blom.
Mia Blom. Yes.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Ms. Abolarin, I'm the chairman. We have a request for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with off-premise catering. Can you tell us about your operation, please?
Kuramo Restaurant LLC is currently located at 4917 Hartford Road. We purchased this property at 5702-04 Harford Road last year, March. That's 2019, March 1. And it's undergoing renovation, and we have a building permit and approval to operate this restaurant with liquor license. That's why we are applying for a liquor license to enable us expand our operation. And we have a building that is a 2-story. The first floor and second floor will contain about 120 seats, and we'll have a bar on the first floor. The kitchen also is on the first floor where the catering will be done. And we have all the facilities and the fire sprinklers, the burglary approvals, and so on that has been installed in the building to enable us to have safe and secure operation.
And do you have you submitted evidence of your investment in this venture?
Yes, we have submitted it to Mr. C. Russell.
And what's the amount of it? I think I have it here. Okay.
Yes.
263,000, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said that you're presently located on Harford Road at another location? Yes,
it's a rental property. So we bought our own property, which is 5702, 5704.
How long have you been a rental property?
2016, that makes it 4 years now.
Do you have a liquor license there?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay. And who's going, if you open at 5702, who's going to manage the alcohol?
Mr. Adeshubomi Abolari, he's a co-owner. He has a liquor training certification with his wife. So they are going to manage the liquor business.
So he's tip certified, is that what you're telling me?
Yes, he's trained as he trained as a liquor licensee, and then he holds the liquor certification to serve alcohol. I mean,
Does he have experience in doing that?
Yes, he's worked with several of his friends who own a bar.
And is this your husband or a brother or a relative?
It's my son.
Your son, okay. And how old is he, ma'am?
He's 37.
37 years old, okay. And what is he doing now?
He's a contractor.
Okay.
He used to be with the city government, but I think because of his contract ending, he's a freelance contractor.
Okay. And how many people do you intend to employ?
In the restaurant business, we hope to employ about 15 people, and in the liquor, about 5 people.
Okay. And will all of those people get their certification?
Gradually, eventually, yes, because we haven't started the operations yet. So we hope to employ those who have certification. You know, it's only if they resign that we may, employ people and get them certified.
Okay. It's important that you do that fairly quickly because anybody who handles alcohol at your establishment has to abide by all of our rules and regulations. And if you're violated, that's going to make it a problem for you. So you want to understand all that.
Okay.
Now, when do you expect to open?
We're projecting January 2021.
Not
because of January 2021.
Oh, a few months. Okay. Yeah. I had to okay, about 2 or 3 months, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Blum is here. She wanted to talk about this, so let me hear what she has to say as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. I am here on behalf of the Hamilton Hills Neighborhood Association. We were introduced to Ms. Abelaran just this weekend on Saturday, where we learned about the restaurant and about her business. It's our practice that we have an MOU with all businesses that have a liquor license within our catchment that is attached to the license. We're excited about this business, really wanting to support it. We would just like to have the opportunity to have an MOU.
How much time can you get it done by January, do you think, Mr.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if we grant this conditional on the MOU, that would be okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Ms. Abelaran, you're willing to work with them to try to develop a memorandum of understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do the commissioners have any questions?
I have no questions at this time.
I have no questions.
Okay. Mr. Akras, do we have others who want to comment?
If there are any other individuals, members of the public that just joined recently, please use the raise your hand function so I can impanel you and you can give testimony in this matter. Mr. Chairman, I see no individuals that wish to give additional testimony in this matter.
Okay. So, Ms. Abelaran, thank you. On the basis of the materials that you have submitted in the application, as well as the exhibits for this hearing today, and your testimony this morning, as well as that of Ms. Blum, I would vote to approve your application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with off-premise catering, contingent upon your negotiating successfully a memorandum of understanding with Hamilton Hills and making the terms of that MOU a condition of your license.
Thank you.
Have the commissioners?
Upon the review of the evidence and the testimony presented before the board, I also vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license and off-premise catering, conditional on the MOU being done for this property.
Thank you.
Based upon the application and the testimony before us, I too would approve the new Class B beer, wine, and liquor license with off-premise catering. This license is contingent, approval is contingent on an MOU between the licensee and the community. The terms of the license will be attached, the terms of the MOU rather will be attached to the license to the extent they're enforceable by law.
Thank you.
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Business Plan. Board Exhibit 2, Letter of Support from Arstown Bank dated 10/13/20. Exhibit number 3, Email Support from Blue Circle Investment dated 10/12/20. And Exhibit number 4, Letter of Support from Hamilton/Laurelville Main Street dated October 9th, 2020.
Ms. Abelaran, you will be receiving the board's decision and next steps via mail.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm just going to see if I can return to Mr. Maslin. He seems like he has come back online. Mr. Maslin, can you please turn on your video footage? Can you hear me, Mr. Maslin? Mr. Maslin? Okay, Mr. Maslin is still unable to connect. I have Mr. Kadinsky on the line. I believe he's got the next couple of cases. Mr. Kadinsky, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Is Mr. Torres with you for case number 2? And is Mr. Singh with you for case number 3?
Yes, he is.
For both of those cases, sir?
Yep. I got both of them, and I'm going to do number 8 too.
Okay, I'm going to pull you on for number 2 and 3, and we may jump to 8 depending on the commission. So I'm pulling you on now. Calling commissioners case number 2, which is Herman Bahina Torres and Robert Cook, Obsession Bar LLC, trading as Obsession Bar, 701 South Curly Street. Is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership. Board to rehear matter concerning an issue identified during issuance process. Mr. Kudinski?
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky representing the applicants.
And can you have Mr. Torres sworn in, please?
Well, it's Mr. Cook, I think you want to hear from.
Okay.
Yeah. You raise your right hand.
So would you be able to turn on your video?
Shows it's on, but let me see.
And is it just Mr. Robert Cook that you need sworn?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Okay. Okay.
Apparently the video is, it should be on. I can see it says, mine says on, but is it coming through to you?
I think it's your connection speed, Mr. Kudinski.
I don't know. It's just, I can hear you. I see all of you. It's nice to see you.
Do we need video? Can we proceed?
Yeah, we can swear the witnesses as we've done before without the video feed.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Cook.
Okay. Mr. Cook, do you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Kudinski, can you tell us what the issue is, please?
Well, what happened was when the application was filed, Mr. Cook indicated that he had no prior incursions with the law, and as some of us who are a little bit older, can't think that back to the 70s and 80s with the Flower Children, he had some minor brushes with regard to possession, minor misdemeanors. And he had thought that he had gotten probation for judgment, or back then it might have been probation without verdict. And it was a mistake. He has since amended his application and noted those, but they were misdemeanors. It was just inadvertent that he didn't put them down.
And can you tell me the dates of them and how many of the offenses there were?
I saw from what Mr. Acker said, was in the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
That's correct. They were misdemeanors, possession cases.
Do you know how many, Mr. Acker?
I'm sorry, say again?
Do you know how many offenses?
2.
Oh, okay. All right. And the last one was when?
According to the records, I believe 1984.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Cook, are you there?
Yes.
So have you had any problems with the law since 1984?
No.
Okay. And it's your testimony that you overlooked this when you filed your initial application?
Yes, I did. It was so long ago.
Okay.
I apologize, and I promise it will never happen again.
Okay. And otherwise, this has been approved. Is that correct, Mr. Kudinski?
That's correct. It was approved, and that was the only glitch that had come up. And quite frankly, like I said, he didn't remember back then, and maybe it's something we should address the legislature with, but not now.
And when was the amended application filed?
Probably 2-3 weeks ago. He'd gone to that portion of the application and initialed it, and I had sent it in, page 2.
The amended application was received by the board on September 22nd, 2020. Okay, thank you, Mr. Akers. The commissioners have any questions?
Commissioner Guy, no, I have no questions.
I have no questions.
Okay, do we have public comment, Mr. Akers?
Are there any individuals that wish to give public comment in this case? Please use the raise your hand function. I see no individuals that wish to give testimony in this case.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of this amended application received by the board on September 22 of this year, the counsel and testimony received this morning, correcting the oversight that was made in the initial application, which had been previously approved by the board, I would accept the amended application and continue the approval.
Commissioner Guy, upon the review and evidence and testimony presented before the board this morning, I also vote to approve the amended to approve the issuance process.
Go get
Based upon the proffers, the testimony, I too would approve the application to transfer the ownership after rehearing this matter that was caught during the issuance process. Find Mr. Cook to be credible and that this happened in the past and it was unintentional.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
No exhibits for the record.
Mr. Gudinski, please know that the board will be sending correspondence to you regarding the board's decision in this case.
Thank you very much.
Calling the next case, case number 3 on the docket. This is Lakwinder Singh and Jyoti Patwal Incorporated, trading as Lombard Liquor and Bar, 1000 West Lombard Street. Is a Class BD7 beer wine liquor license and application to transfer ownership.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky representing Mr. Lakwinder Singh, who's here with me.
Let's swear Mr. Singh in, please.
Raise your right hand, please.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
Yes. Answered yes.
Okay, and that was Mr. Singh.
Yeah. Yes. For the record, this is a transfer of a license that's been pending for, a long time, I think, since we had electricity. And in this case, the applicant has met with the community on numerous occasions back and forth, and they have entered into an MOU. And that MOU was sent in, and I know I saw a copy went to Mr. Akris. We had signed it probably 2 weeks ago, and president of the Hollings Roundhouse had signed it and sent it in to Mr. Akris, so it's part of your file. Mr. Singh has been on premises since November, so he's familiar with the neighborhood. He's been running the business during that entire time, lives upstairs now, and he is familiar with the rules and regulations of the liquor board. We'll be taking the alcohol awareness course, and anybody that serves there will be having the alcohol awareness course, and of course he will get fingerprinted. This is a long process, but I think it worked out to the benefit of all parties to get this MOU executed.
And he's willing to have the terms of the MOU be a condition of his license?
I'm going to ask that. Mr. Singh, you're willing to have the terms of the MOU made part of the license, correct? Yes. He said yes.
Okay, commissioners have any questions?
I have no questions.
No questions.
Public comment, Mr. Akers?
If there are any individuals that wish to provide public comment in this matter, please use the raise your hand function. Again, please use the raise your hand function. I see one individual, Mr. Meyer, is raising his hand. Mr. Meyer, I see that you're raising your hand. Would you like to give testimony in the 1000 West Lombard Street, Mr. Meyer?
Yes, giving testimony on behalf of the community.
All right,
okay, bear with me. I'm going to make you a panelist, okay?
Sure.
I'm bringing Mr. Meyer on. Can you please turn on your video footage, Mr. Meyer?
Yes, I'm attempting to do so now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Meyer, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Meyer, do you want to tell us who you represent?
Yes, I'm a member at large of the Holland's Roundhouse Neighborhood Association, just speaking on behalf of the board that we consent to this transfer so long as the MOU, which has been executed by us and the transferee, is made a part of the liquor license, is made an enforceable part of the liquor license.
Well, he's consented to that, so if we approve it, that will be the case.
Yes.
Okay. Anything further?
I have nothing further.
Okay, and I'm sorry, so that was the only public comment, Mr. Akras?
I see no, if there are any other individuals, please use the raise your hand function to give public comment now. Mr. Chair, I see no individuals that wish to give further comment.
Okay, thank you. On the basis that the materials contained in the application, the proffers from counsel and the testimony received, and that would include this memorandum of understanding between the licensee and the Holland's Roundhouse. I would vote to approve this application to transfer the license, and I would make the MOU terms a condition upon the license to the extent that they're enforceable by law.
Commissioner Guy, upon a review of the evidence and the testimony presented before the board this morning, I also vote to approve the application of transfer of ownership, conditioned upon that the MOU is attached.
Based upon the application, the testimony before us, I too would approve the transfer of ownership with the memorandum of understanding attached to the license to the extent it's enforceable by law.
No, just call.
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, letter from Allentown Roundhouse Community Association dated 6/23/20. Exhibit number 2, MOU dated 10/14/20 between applicants and Highlands Roundhouse Neighborhood Association.
Thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
Mr. Kudinski, please note that the board will be sending you correspondence via mail regarding its decision and the next steps for licensure. Mr. Kudinski, I believe you have the last case as well. Mr. Chair, members of the board, may I call the last case on the docket since Mr. Kudinski does represent that individual?
Yes.
You going to come back here? Or you're going to cancel your hearing? That's okay.
Okay. Mr. Kudinski, do you
Yes,
have
sir.
your client with you, with Mr. Patel?
I have him right here, and he's coming back. If he's put his phone down, we'll get something done.
Okay. If you're able to, please turn on your video footage. I'll call that case right now. Joshua A.P. Patel, Ganga Prasad at Hikari and Ram D. K.C., 517 Broadway, LLC, trading as Main Street Bar and Liquors, Dos Mundos Bar and Lounge, 3724 Eastern Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, a request for a transfer hardship extension under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B, which allows an additional 90 days, not to exceed 270 days, to complete the transfer.
For the record, Melvin J. Kudinski, representing the applicants requesting the extension. For some reason, the video shows it's on, but I can't see. I'm not seeing myself, but he's here, and you can swear him in. Mr. What's your name?
Okay.
Joshua Patel is here.
Okay, so it's just Joshua Patel there?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kudinski, we have your letter. Well, actually, a letter from Craig Schwartz dated September 9, 2020, requesting the hardship extension. And is this a 90-day request?
Yeah, it's a 90-day request. The situation is that due to trying to get clearances from the controller's office and also getting the inspectors on the premises, it's taken longer than they anticipated. So, but they're very close at this point. Most of the clearances, except for ones from the controller's office, has come in, and some of the inspections and the bulk transfer permits, so they would need additional time.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Public comment, Mr. Akers?
Are there any individuals that wish to give public comment in this matter? Please use the raise your hand function. Your Honor, I see no individuals that wish to give public comment in this matter.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, including the letter from Mr. Craig Schwartz, dated September 9, 2020, proper from Mr. Kadensky this morning, I'd vote to approve a 90-day hardship extension for this license.
Commissioner Guy, upon the review of the evidence and testimony presented before the board this morning, I also vote to approve the application for transfer of hardship, for the hardship extension.
Based upon the application proffers from Mr. Kadinsky, I too would approve the transfer hardship for an additional 90 days.
No exhibits.
Mr. Kadinsky, you will receive information in the mail in regards to the board's decision in this matter and next steps.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, I can check one more time with Mr. Maslin to see if he's ready, if you'd like, or I can move on to the next set of cases.
Well, why don't you check with him and see if he's there?
Mr. Maslin, are you there? Mr. Maslin? Mr. Maslin, can you hear me? Mr. Chair, he's still having technical difficulties. I'm going to move to the next cases.
Okay.
I'm going to be calling now case number 5, Michael F. White and Andrew Dunlap, the Sobo Taco Spot, LLC, trading as Banditos, 1118 South Charles Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, a request to expand licensed premises to include the near patio area. I'm going to bring on Mr. Previs right now and make him a panelist. I believe I have Ms. Valeri, who's present. I think she wants to give testimony. I'm going to make her a panelist now just for the purposes of swearing her in. Okay. And I put both on. Ms. Valeri, Mr. Previs, please turn on your cameras and your audio.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Can hear you, can't see you, but why don't you identify yourself for the record, please?
Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees, Michael White and Andrew Dunlap. Seated to my immediate left is Michael F. White.
Okay. And Madam Reporter, would you swear Mr. White and Ms. Valeri, please?
Okay. And Ms. Valeri, are you able to turn on your video?
Ms. Valeri has muted herself. Ms. Valeri, if you wish to give testimony, please turn on your video and your audio. Ms. Valeri is not doing that.
Right,
Ms. Valeri, I just turned on your audio. Mr. Valeri, Ms. Valeri? Yes. Can you turn on your video, please? Ms. Valeri, do you wish to give testimony in this matter? No. I can barely hear you, Ms. Valeri.
No.
I think she's saying no.
No.
You don't want to give testimony in this matter?
Not today. Right.
Okay, so no, I'm sorry. She does not want to give testimony in this matter. I'll remove her from the panel. I apologize.
Okay. Let's swear Mr. White.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Previs?
Thank you. Can you see and hear us now?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if I can proceed by way of a proffer, this is a request for Banditos, 1118 South Charles Street, to permanently add the outdoor seating area that is in the rear of the Banditos. It was previously a parking pad there. and a TMP temporary COVID permit was obtained for this space, and it is currently being utilized. The area is a paved area. It currently contains and will continue to contain 8 picnic tables of 6 seats each for a total non-COVID capacity of 48 seats. The hours of operation of the outdoor area, which is just for seating, for dining, and not an area for people to congregate, but there are tables there, would be 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday and midnight Friday and Saturday. There is no live entertainment outside. It is for outdoor dining. The staffing, when COVID ceases, will add 3 employees to the staff. It is currently under capacity because of COVID requirements. The licensee has obtained letters of support from the Federal Hill Main Street, Federal Hill Neighborhood Association, and South Baltimore Neighborhood Association. The area is well policed and have had no complaints with regard to noise or anything else coming from the neighbors.
Mr. Previs, what's the relationship between the licensee and this area? Does he own it, rent it, or what is the status?
They are the tenants. There is a landlord that owns the entire building, which I believe contains 11 or 12 condo units. Additionally, there is the Banditos has what's called 101 on the front part of the building. That's all part of the same space.
It's part of the area.
I'm sorry.
It is part of the area that they're renting?
Yes. It used to be a parking pad.
Mm-hmm.
And by reason of COVID, it was utilized for temporary seating, and it's worked out very well. So we're requesting to do that on a permanent basis.
I mean, maybe I misunderstood Ms. Valeri's letter, but she was questioning whether this was part of the leased premises, but apparently it is.
Mr. Chairman, that issue was with regard to Wayward across the street, the next case.
Oh, okay.
With regard to Banditos, that's not the issue.
Okay, all right. Commissioners have any questions?
I have none.
No questions.
Public comment, Mr. Akras?
Are we still?
If there are any individuals that wish to give public comment in this matter, please use the raise your hand function at this moment, and I will impanel you as a witness. Mr. Chair, I see no individuals that wish to give testimony in this matter.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, including the letters of support, the proffer from council, I would vote to approve this request to expand the licensed premises to include the rear patio area.
Commissioner Guy, upon the review and the evidence and testimony presented before the board, I also vote to approve the expanded licensed premises to include the rear patio area.
Based upon the applications, the proffers from council, I too would vote to approve the expansion of the licensed premises to include the rear patio area.
No exhibits for the record.
Mr. Previs, you will receive correspondence in the mail as to the next steps for expanding that outdoor table service area and making it permanently attached to the Banditos license.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Calling the next case, James W. DePino Jr. and Michael McDevitt, Pull the Trigger LLC, Trading Wayward, Southern Bar and Kitchen, 1117 through 21 South Charles Street. Is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. A request to expand licensed premises to include adjacent rear patio known as 10 through 14 East West Street. I have a couple of individuals that I'd like to bring in. I had I believe it was Mr. McDevitt was on the line, and he's not on the line anymore. Mr. Previs, is Mr. McDevitt going to be joining us again? Because it seems like he dropped off.
I think he dropped off. If I could proceed with Mr. DePino, who is to my immediate left, we would prefer that.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to make Ms. Valeri a panelist this time because I believe she said she wanted to give testimony in this case. So I'm making her a panelist. Ms. Valeri, please turn on your video and your audio. I've turned on Ms. Valeri's audio. We need to turn on her video.
There you are. Okay. So,
Okay.
Mr. Previs, will you identify yourself for the record, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the licensees, Michael McDevitt and James Pino, Pull the Trigger LLC, I'm Peter Previs.
Okay. And would the reporter please swear Mr. DePino and Ms. Valeri, please?
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Oh, I didn't hear the answer. Sorry.
I do. Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Previs?
Chairman, I'd like to proceed by way of a proffer. I need to make one correction on the application. There was an oversight on my part. On question 4, asked if any of the licensees are on any other licenses, and I said yes as to this license, but forgot to include that Mr. McDevitt is also a licensee on the Curious Oyster LLC, 8161 Honeygo Boulevard in White Marsh. That establishment's been in operation since October of 19. It is a Class B license and does not impede on Mr. McDevitt's ability to continue on this license.
Okay. Are you going to submit an amended application?
I will, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Just for the record, and I apologize for interrupting, assuming that the board does not consider this a material amendment to the application, which would require a postponement. Is that correct?
I don't believe I do. I don't know if the other commissioners feel that way.
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't believe it's material.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Previs.
Thank you. With regard to this request, Mr. Chairman, this is a request to add an outdoor rear patio area to the Wayward premises, which is directly across the street from Banditos at 1117 South Charles Street, not 1118 South Charles Street. The issue that Ms. Valeri raises, I want to address that first. The Muley family owns the existing premises. The Muley family owned 2 row houses on West Street, or there's actually 3 properties, 10 to 14 East West Street. So you have Charles Street on the front, and then the side street directly to the south of that is West Street. And then there's an alley behind there that's called Patapsco. And on the other side of Patapsco is the city multi-level parking garage. So what had occurred is that the GEM Muley Bakery LLC, the Wayward property, and Pull the Trigger LLC is the tenant. And GEM Muley Bakery LLC also owns this vacant lot directly behind and to the side of the Wayward property, which is named 10 to 14 East West Street. The Muley family has not filed anything with the city of Baltimore to consolidate those lots, but the issue that makes this okay is the tenant is identical. The tenancy, the license is in Pull the Trigger LLC, and since they are the lessee of both of the spaces and those spaces are contiguous, and as confirmed by the board staff that the opening onto the patio comes directly from the Wayward building, that this is an appropriate request. With regard to the, I'm sorry.
Is this an area that they have opened during the COVID situation?
No, sir. The TMP permit for the COVID situation is on the other side of the premises near Mother's. This is currently a vacant lot. There is a proposed investment of $100,000. It's currently it's just grass and gravel on the premises. So this would be a new designated area.
Okay. Did you have anything further you wanted to add, Mr. Peters?
Briefly, the configuration is that it will house 12 tables, which would be 72 seats.
You're breaking.
Again, there would be no live to the. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There would be 9-foot screening, and there's going to be a lot of investment to make this a pretty spot. There would be 6 additional employees that will be hired as by reason of this. Ms. Valeri also raised the issue of this establishment having issues with meeting their 50% food requirements. This is going to help that immensely. The space is designed for the dining aspect of this business, for people seated for dining, and it'll be a big boost. We've also experienced that many people, by reason of COVID, they seem to suggest that they would like to stay outdoors. This may be a permanent mindset for folks going into the future, even after government regulations are lifted. And we think this is going to be an excellent opportunity for people to have another area in the venue to enjoy their dining.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear from Mrs. Are you there, ma'am? Can't hear you. I'm sorry, but we're not hearing you. I can see you, Miss Valeri, but I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think you're trying to say, is there a phone number you can dial? Is that correct, Ms. Valeri? Bear with me. I've got to multitask because I have to move a couple things around on my computer. But I can get you that information. Okay, so what you can do, Ms. Valeri, is you can pick up your phone and you can dial the following number: 1-408-418-9388. Once you dial that number, you can punch in the following access code: 173-681-4697. And just to help you, I'm just going to put that slide up right here, and you have that slide, and you can use that number to call in.
Mr. Chairman, may I add one other matter?
Sure. Yes.
I forgot to mention that Wayward also has letters of support from Federal Hill Main Street, Federal Hill Neighborhood Association, and South Baltimore Neighborhood Association.
Thanks.
Okay, I believe this is Ms. Valeri here. Just bear with me. Ms. Valeri, is this you?
Yes.
Okay, what I need you to do, Ms. Valeri, is shut off the audio on your computer now. There's a huge background problem.
Shut off. Mute. Where is the mute?
There's a huge background problem. Shut off the audio on your computer.
I just did.
Okay. Got a big echo. All right, so. Okay, go ahead.
I'll go into the adjacent room. Let me just say that I'm as confused as everybody else by the rules or lack of rules during this pandemic. And I just wanted to seek clarification on what was allowed with respect to the expansion and substantial expansion of operations during this time.
Well, I think we're sort of playing this a little bit, Ms. Valeri. You heard, I think, Mr. Priebus's proffer about the relationship between the licensees here and the landlord, which has some comfort. Tell us what your concern is.
I think the situation with Banditos and Waywards is totally different. The area that Banditos is expanding into at 1118 Charles Street is part of that property. What Wayward is proposing to do is to expand its operations on areas that are not currently licensed. And that's what I find confusing, because in theory, if more vacant lots become available or more areas contiguous to the property become available, they could continue to expand their operations.
Yes, Mr. Akros, is that a legal obstacle to their expansion?
That's the whole purpose behind this hearing. The whole purpose is, and this is what an expansion is when we're talking about an outdoor expansion. It's an area that was not used to provide alcoholic distribution services, which now the applicant or licensee in this case is requesting the authority to expand into that area. And then that raises two questions before the board. First, is the expansion allowable under the zoning code? And the answer to that question in this case is yes, because we've received approval from the zoning administrator that this is allowable. And what that means is the lot on West Street will be consolidated with the property currently at Wayward. So it will be essentially one property. The second question is whether the board, because this is not an issue with zoning, whether the board approves of allowing for alcoholic distribution in this newly expanded area.
Okay, and exactly how are this area, you say, Mr. Priebus, in your application that it's adjacent. How far apart are they?
They're next to each other, literally next to each other. So the Wayward property is a building that goes from the front of Charles Street to the back alley on Patapsco. And this property is to the south and is contiguous with the existing side wall of the rear of the Wayward property. So there will be a door and a window. So the door leading from the inside of Wayward to the outside patio area will open up into the patio area. So you're not crossing a street, you're not crossing an alley. They are immediately contiguous, which makes this okay. There's a unity of ownership of the landlord, GEM Muley Bakery LLC, There is a unity of the tenant, which is Pull the Trigger LLC. So it is no different than moving to the back parking pad of Banditos. It is the same owner, landlord, the same lessee tenant, and it is strictly a request to expand to add this outdoor patio area, no different from any other request that the board would see.
Well,
There are several.
It is
I'm sorry, sir.
It is an expansion of the licensed premises, as Ms. Valeri points out. Ms. Valeri, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
So it seems to me that the answer to your question is twofold. One, if they request zoning approval and it's denied, we could not do it. We would not authorize it. If they request zoning approval and it's granted, then it comes back to us, and we have to look at a lot of different factors to determine whether it's appropriate. In this case, I'm inclined to grant it for the reasons Mr. Pruda stated, and also because the three community organizations are in support of it. So I know you raised a technical question, and if, as I said, I think the answer to that is twofold. They need zoning approval, and then they need our approval. And if it didn't have all of these connections that this particular application has, we may very well turn it down. But I'm not inclined on this one unless the other commissioners feel differently. So why don't we hear from them?
Can I just ask one other question?
Sure.
I think the fact that all of the properties are owned by the same LLC or whatever it is irrelevant for the purposes of this discussion. But I also don't know when the Wayward folks entered into a lease for this property.
I don't know the answer to that. Let me hear what the commissioners have to say.
Commissioner Guy, based upon the information that I've heard and the testimony that was given, I would be inclined to vote in favor of this expansion. Based upon the ownership and the tenant agreements that they have.
I would concur with Commissioner Guy.
Okay. So, Ms. Valeri, I think your points are well taken. I think it's something we're going to have to look very carefully at when these applications come before us. But in this one, I think I side with the other commissioners. I'd vote to approve it. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have other exhibits, Ms. Russell?
Ms. Russell, exhibits?
1 second, I'd like to call the exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, letter from Barbara Valeri dated 10/12/20.
Thank you.
We also had exhibits, just for the record. Mr. Previs submitted the exhibits yesterday, these letters of support at 6 o'clock p.m., so they were forwarded to the board. I don't think you have those, Ms. Russell, but the board had copies
No, I
of them.
don't. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I believe we have Mr. Maslin back on the phone with us, and I'm going to try to bring him in. May I please recall the first case?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
And I apologize, Mr. Previs, we will be sending you correspondence regarding the board's decision and the next steps for licensure.
Thank you, sir.
Recalling case number 1, Kian Ali and Freddie Monford, Bayview Golf Driving Range LLC, trading as Bayview Golf Center, 6401 East Lombard Street. Mr. Maslin, we've brought you back. Seems like you have a new phone. Could you please turn on your video? Can you hear me, Mr. Maslin?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Right. Yeah, we have a different phone now.
Can you turn on your video, sir?
I believe it's on. I don't know. Is it on? Wait a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, I think on. Yes.
Is Mr. Monford?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, there he is.
Let's ask the reporter to swear him, please.
Oh, God, it just went out.
You're good. You're good, Mr. Maslin. We see you. This phone is fine.
All right, the phone's working. All right. Yeah. Again, Mr. Montfort, raise your right hand. Hello? It cut off?
Madam Court Reporter, can you please repeat yourself?
That's Mr. Freddie Montford. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Mr. Maslin, this case came back to us because of discrepancies in the application after it was approved. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, it's very similar to the case Mr. Kadinsky had. This gentleman's 66 years of age. He's worked for 20 years for Federal Express. He underwent a security clearance when he went to employment there. Prior to that, he worked for 10 years for Miles and Stockbridge, a law firm. He underwent a security clearance check there. His wife, not too long ago, he went to a security clearance because she has a daycare center. He's a father of 4 children, and he's 66 years of age. When he was a young man, back in his 18, 19, he ran into some difficulties with the law, which he believed were long since off his record. And he didn't even think about them for the last 35 years because he'd been through, he's 55 years old, sorry. He's been through these other security checks and got jobs for very responsible companies. He's sorry for this mistake that was made, and he's going to look into it to see that these things are removed from his record. They go back to, I believe, 1986 and 85. So he's a good, decent person and a productive member of society.
And who submitted the application, you or him?
I believe I prepared it, gave it to him for signature. He quickly signed the thing and apparently didn't think about that particular question because it's so remote in time, and he 3 other security checks.
Okay, so let me ask Mr. Montfort a question. Sir, did you have any reason to withhold this information?
Not at all. Like I said, I mean, this stuff, I am truly sorry about all this confusion, but it never came up. I actually thought all this stuff was like expunged.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
Commissioner Guy, I have no questions.
No questions.
Okay. Any public comment, Mr. Akris?
If there are any individuals that wish to give testimony in this matter, please use the raise your hand function. Mr. Chair, I see no individuals that wish to give testimony in this matter.
Okay. All right. Mr. Maslin, Mr. Montfort, on the basis of the information that's been provided to us through the documents as well as the testimony and proffer this morning, I'm going to find that the failure to indicate these misdemeanor convictions from 30 some years ago was not a material misrepresentation on the application, and I would allow the transfer to proceed.
Commissioner Guy, based upon the information and a review of the evidence and testimony presented before the board this morning, I also vote to approve the application for transfer of ownership and the location of the Class D beer and wine license presently located with Cross Street Market at 6401 East Lumber Street.
Based upon proffers from counsel, the testimony, I too would approve the transfer of ownership and location of this license. I found Mr. Montfort to be credible and that this was not an intentional or material misrepresentation.
Thank you.
Petty Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, letter from attorney dated 10/1/2020. Exhibit number 2, letter of opposition from Elaine Wilkie, Bayview Community Homeowners Residents Association. And exhibit number 3, letter of opposition from Bayview Community Association dated 10/13/20.
Thank you.
Mr. Maslin, you will receive the board's decision via mail, and next steps for licensure.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Akers.
Okay, you're all welcome. Mr. Akros, does that conclude our docket for today?
Mr. Chair, that concludes our docket. The board will be in recess until October 20th. It'll be a Tuesday hearing, followed by a Thursday hearing on October 22nd. We will be with all the information regarding the hearings has been posted online.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.